Exclusive contract novel from Felu Novel Network. I walk across the heavens and all worlds, selling gods. One day, the Earth International Space Station. The astronaut, who was carrying out daily tasks, suddenly heard a magnificent sound drifting deep in the universe. Hello. Hello. Can you hear it? Cough. I am a noodle merchant who sells noodles, pets, servants. There are currently 3 aerospace carriers. If your civilization is interested, please hurry up. The price is fair to both the old and the young. At the next moment, 3 immensely large aerospace aircraft carriers descended beyond Earth. In an instant, all the major forces on Earth were confused. I am Su Kan, a plane merchant who travels through various planes. Felu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Becoming a Plane Merchant. New book seeking data. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Becoming a Plane Merchant. Su Kan woke up. Looking at the unfamiliar environment in front of me, I felt a bit confused for a moment and didn't know what had happened. But soon, a voice suddenly rang in his ear. Congratulations to the host. Bind to the local merchant system. Su Kan was suddenly startled. I was very surprised in my heart. I've traveled. As a 10-year-old bookworm, he certainly knows what this system represents. And in front of him, there were already images appearing. Those were some technologically pleasing images that quickly flashed past him. Quickly, the flickering of those images came to a standstill, forming a complete interface marked with Plane, System Mall, and Rebate System. The system's prompt sound also rang in Su Kan's ear. The basic plane merchant system can provide multiple planes for the host to choose from, and the host needs to engage in reselling transactions on other planes to unlock more planes. The rebate system can provide a rebate of 100 times the original value of the items sold back by the host. The profit obtained from rebates is included in the system mall amount, and through the system mall amount, the host can exchange for other planes' entry rights. In a few short sentences, introduce all the functions of this system. And what Su Kan is most excited about is this rebate system. 100 times rebate. Didn't I post it? This is equivalent to, if a valuable diamond is obtained from another plane, then in the system mall, it can be equivalent to a rebate of 100 times. At this point, Su Kan was already eager to try. At present, his first world to enter has also been marked in the plane module of the system. Magic Level 1 World. A world. Class Technology. The annotation of these 2 planes made Su Kan raise her eyebrows. It is difficult to understand the specific meaning of these 2 first-level worlds. But the sound of the system immediately came out to answer his questions and clarify his doubts. The first-level world of magic and the first-level world of technology are both the most basic planes. The first-level magic world is equivalent to the magic level of the Lord of the Rings world in the host's understanding. A world. Class Technology, leading the current Earth's technology by 600 years. This explanation is simple, but very clear and easy to understand. Su Kan also immediately knew what the situation was with these 2 planes. He was somewhat surprised in his heart. Is the world of first-class technology leading the Earth by 600 years? Is it so fierce? But what can we exchange for? How to trade? This. For a moment, Su Kan fell into confusion. Can we only exchange rebates for the most basic transactions? After thinking for a while, Su Kan finally came to this conclusion. The technology over there is 600 years ahead of the Earth. What can be sold on Earth? I'm afraid it's difficult to achieve a small but broad perspective. If that's the case, then the only option is to exchange things and earn system rebates to unlock the plane. This is his mother. For a moment, Su Kan felt a bit troublesome. However, this is not impossible to operate, after all, it is a 100-fold rebate. However, at this moment, he noticed a strange exclamation mark in the system interface and the plane module. He instinctively clicked on it. A scene suddenly unfolded before Su Kan's eyes. That is an explanation for these two worlds. There is nothing to say about the magical world, and the key is that there is no comparison. But in the world of technology, Su Kan's gaze at this world indicates that his heart has begun to become lively. Due to the war, water resources are scarce. Now that the war has just come to an end, scientists are offering generous rewards for unpolluted water resources in order to restore the planet's water resources. Seeing this, Su Kan's mouth had already pulled a curve. This is quite interesting. However, soon another doubt arose in Su Kan's mind. Has the war just come to an end? That means going there on your own can also be dangerous. What should we do? However, at this very moment, a memory suddenly surged into his mind. Those memory fragments instantly merged into his mind. At this moment, Su Kan realized that the identity he had traveled through was not an ordinary person. I am not a commoner, my father is a commander of a special army, and I am a reliable second-generation soldier. As soon as Su Kan thought of this, his thoughts became vivid. You can find the army. My identity. Anyway, with the help of the military, many things were easily captured. Even with a technological advantage of 600 years, people are still unchanged. It's not like any thug can cause trouble. Indeed, some forces cannot be countered by ordinary armies, but the existence of the army can definitely overcome many obstacles. With this thought in mind, Su Kan had already made up her mind. Do whatever you say. Take advantage of dawn and hurry to the military district. P.S. New books set sale, seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking everything. Thank you for your support, readers. Chapter 2. Abduction, new book seeks data. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Abduction of Special Forces, a military-controlled area in the suburbs of Jiangbei City. This is a very secretive headquarters, and although many people know that there is military control here, they do not know how powerful it is. This is the residence of the Special Forces codenamed Zhurong. Su Kan grew up here from a young age. At this point, Su Kan had already entered the headquarters of the military division. Commander. After knocking on the door, Su Kan walked into the commander's office. Su Changrong saw Su Kan and raised his eyebrows. What are you doing again? After pondering for a moment, Su Kan spoke up and said, I'm here to ask Zhu Rong's troops to come with me on a mission. Upon hearing these words, Su Changrong felt a bit confused at first. Task out. Zhu Rong's troops. Due to the unique nature of Zhu Rong's army, Su Changrong's rank is much higher than that of an ordinary military district commander, and he is a major general. Su Changrong understood very well what this stinky kid in his family was. He frowned inside and said sternly. What do you want to do again? I have found a way to go to the parallel plane, Su Kan replied straightforwardly, we need Zhu Rong's troops to come with me. Where is Su Changrong really asking what he wants? At this moment, upon hearing Su Kan's words at first, he was taken aback, then immediately widened his eyes, with a furious expression and a sudden change in momentum. Wow! Su Changrong suddenly stood up and raised his arm to point at the door. Get out of here! Su Kan had long realized that such a situation might happen. So before coming, he didn't plan to easily move to the troops of Zhurong's army. Upon hearing Su Changrong so angry, Su Kan said again. Don't be angry, old man. Just a little joke. I'm going out now, and it's not Mid-Autumn Festival soon. I'll say hello to you in advance. Speaking so, Su Changrong also felt a bit discouraged, but still expressed great dissatisfaction. You can joke about anything. What is Zhurong's army? It is classified as top secret in China. In the future, one must speak with caution. Su Kan gave a haha, casually replied a few words, then turned around to say goodbye and left. He visited all the way, from the commander's office to the political commissar and staff office, under the banner of "going out," he ran through the entire military district. Finally, I stood at the entrance of the barracks. At this point, the entire base knew that Su Kan had come. No one paid attention to Su Kan standing at the entrance of the barracks. However, the purpose of Su Kan standing at the entrance of the barracks at this moment, he's going to do something big. Pushing open the gate of the barracks, Su Kan pretended to be cold and stern, standing at the entrance of the barracks, scanning around the soldiers of the Zhurong army who were preparing for training in the barracks. Are they all here? Upon hearing his loud questioning, all the soldiers looked over. But no one immediately stood up. What is this young man for? Wearing casual clothes, no one spoke for a moment. However, Su Kan was already prepared. He pulled out an officer's certificate. It's his father's Major General's officer certificate. With a slight brightening, the eyes of these soldiers instantly changed. Major General. Such a young Major General. What is the situation? In the barracks where there was no movement, a soldier immediately stood up and reported. Report, sir. Zhurong's army consists of 128 soldiers. All in place. I am Class Monitor Chen Feng. Upon hearing this, Su Kan nodded and then said coldly. Captain Chen Feng, with 30 good soldiers. Follow me. This rank of Major General has suppressed everyone. The mission of a soldier is to execute orders, and at this young Major General's command, these soldiers dare not disobey. Chen Feng, the squad leader, swiftly selected 30 of the most elite soldiers from the ordinary class and quickly lined up neatly on the playground. Su Kan's deputy stood on the open space outside the barracks, and under the scorching sun, he loudly said, "Today's mission is a top-secret mission. There may be bleeding. Are you afraid?" 30 soldiers shouted in unison, "Not afraid." Su Kan nodded and said, "Fully armed." 5 minutes later, gather here. Dissolve. The team of 30 people almost instantly disintegrated and disappeared in front of Su Kan. In less than 5 minutes, these 30 people gathered again at the same place. This operation will be directly ordered by the Central Military Headquarters. Task level, top secret. Never disclose any information until the task is completed. No matter what you see or hear, no questions or speeches are allowed. Su Kan admonished while occasionally observing whether anyone noticed the anomaly here. But in fact, some people have already noticed the situation here, but everyone thinks this is a normal weight-bearing exercise. Who would think that someone dares to sneak and leave the military camp with Zhurong's troops? Did you hear everything clearly? 30 soldiers responded in unison, listen carefully. P.S. New books set sale, seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking everything. Thank you for your support, readers. Chapter 3. Forward. Technology Level 1 Plane. New. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Forward. Technology Level 1 Plane. These 30 soldiers didn't know that the second lieutenant in front of them was a second generation. They not only had no doubts, but at this moment, the hearts of these 30 soldiers were boiling with passion. Raising soldiers for 1,000 days and using them for a while. This time, they can finally go to the event. Su Kan knew for a long time that the old man would never let him lead his troops away. Even if you say it yourself, it's impossible. Since that's the case, it's better to execute first and report later. On weekdays, Su Changrong did not bring his military officer certificate, so he retrieved it from his home. I walked around the various offices, but it didn't seem too abrupt. And this really made him bring people out. No one expected that Su Kan could just drive away from the military district with 30 fully armed Special Forces soldiers after Su Kan left with 30 elite Special Forces for half an hour. Su Changrong stood in front of the barracks with the chief of staff, and today was also the day of routine inspection. However, standing at the entrance of the barracks, Su Changrong raised his eyebrows. Why are so many people missing today? Su Changrong was puzzled and said. The chief of staff shook his head and said he didn't know anything about the situation. Su Changrong looked like many soldiers this time and asked, "Where is your squad leader?" One of them stood up and said, "Report. The squad leader is going to carry out the task." Su Changrong raised his eyebrows and said, "Task? What task?" The soldier said, "Report. I don't know what mission. It's a top-secret mission." At this moment, Su Changrong had already felt very strange in his heart. Top-secret mission. No matter how confidential the mission is, I shouldn't have known. What is the situation? Su Changrong rubbed the stubble on his chin and glanced at the chief of staff next to him. But at this moment, the confusion on the chief of staff's face indicated that he didn't know what was going on either. However, Su Changrong suddenly thought of something. He took out his phone and flipped out a photo. He called over the soldier who answered the question and asked, "Is that him?" The soldier was momentarily stunned, then immediately nodded. "Report, it's this Major General." Upon hearing these words, there was a buzzing sound in Su Changrong's mind. I immediately realized the big problem. Damn it. This stinky kid actually took his troops out. At this moment, where is the chief of staff still unaware of what has happened? He immediately asked, "Is it Su Can? What is he going to do?" At first, Su Changrong ignored the chief of staff and immediately said, "Bring them back to me. Let the Jiangbei Municipal Bureau collaborate." "How long have they been gone?" The soldier replied, "It's been half an hour." Su Changrong forcefully pinched the center of his eyebrows, feeling very angry. "What are you still doing in a daze? Before they cause trouble, quickly retrieve the person for me." Wow! The soldiers in the entire barracks stood up with a loud crash. Yes. Just as 20 military vehicles left the gate of the military district. Su Can has already brought his people to a mountain range in the suburbs of Jiangbei City. This place is deserted and overgrown with weeds, but in the shadow of the mountain in front of them, there is an incredibly huge cave. This is the place in Su Can's memory. After all, I have to go to another plane, so I naturally need to make some arrangements. Although I have made up my mind to cooperate with the military. But you have to hide something to some extent. At least I can't let others completely know my cards. Although the entrance of the plane was entirely decided by Su Can himself, it had to be hidden to some extent. We cannot let everyone know that this is related to ourselves. Su Can thought this way, then turned around and faced the group of soldiers with faces full of confusion. And Su Can stood in front of the cave entrance, took a deep breath, and spoke loudly. "Start applying tactical camouflage." Upon hearing Su Can's order, these soldiers immediately began to take action. Zhurong Special Forces, these soldiers are all the most elite scouts. Although confused, they didn't hesitate and immediately took action. While they were applying oil paint, Su Can followed closely and said, "This operation is completely confidential. No matter what you see, what you feel, you are not allowed to spread it out. No matter who asks, give me my name. I'm Su Can. Did you hear everything clearly?" At this point, the soldiers had also finished painting the tactical camouflage, and together they responded loudly, "Listen carefully." Su Can nodded and then turned his head to point towards the cave, saying, "Move forward." P.S. New book set sale, seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking everything. Thank you for your support, readers. Chapter 4. The incident has been exposed. New book seeking data. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. The abduction of special forces has been exposed. Just as Su Kan and the soldiers entered the cave together, he didn't know yet that the entire Jiangbei city had already started. On the other hand, Su Changrong, who was stationed in the headquarters, was now ready to throw Su Kan into prison. This is not that Su Changrong is cold-blooded and ruthless. The crime committed by Su Kan now, being thrown into prison, is already the best outcome. 30 elite members of the top secret forces were taken out by a mud-legged person. Don't say what you did. Even if they don't do anything and just expose their identities, they could still be sent to military court. This Su Kan. Su Changrong is almost biting his teeth to pieces. I'm used to being spoiled on weekdays. I didn't expect such a big basket to be dug up now. Anyway. It's better to be sent to prison, otherwise it will be a disaster sooner or later. Within the cave. The bright light of the tactical flashlight has already illuminated the cave. Su Kan led the team step by step towards the inside. I pondered in my heart where to open the door to the plane. But the soldiers who followed him were still filled with confusion and strangeness about this mission in their hearts. Especially Class Monitor Chen Feng. Those questions lingered in his mind for a long time. Where exactly did this Major General come from? Who are the enemies in this cave? How could there be an enemy worth deploying in this cave? Just as he was lost in thought, Su Kan's footsteps suddenly stopped in front of him. Su Kan's lowered voice came out. Alert! Turn off the lights. Under Su Kan's command, the originally bright cave instantly became pitch black. However, everyone saw in this pitch black environment, there seemed to be a faint firefly flickering in the office. Although faint, as their gaze gradually adapted, the light became even more dazzling and dazzling. That is a bottomless vortex with inexplicable attraction, as if through this starlight, one can travel to another world. This is the temporary storefront opened by Su Kan here. However, when these soldiers saw such a scene, they were all stunned. What is this? My goodness! What did I see? What is this? High-tech. Every soldier's heart is filled with amazement and surprise. The scene in front of me is like the one I've seen in a movie. Immediately, everyone's original suspicion of this Major General Su Kan dissipated in an instant. After all, just relying on such a strange and mysterious vortex in this cave can already prove that since this mission is a top-secret mission, it is no longer just a false name. Class Monitor Chen Feng immediately calmed down and gestured to the people around him. Let's go. Chen Feng took the lead and a group of soldiers orderly entered this vortex. And Su Kan was at the back and quickly followed in. At this moment, his heart was also a bit uneasy. After all, what the other side is about to face is the Marvel movie universe plane. After experiencing a very eerie experience, Su Kan suddenly felt a sudden clarity in front of him. Major General. Soldier Chen Feng lowered his voice and said, "We conducted basic reconnaissance and did not find any enemy information." Su Kan nodded and looked at the situation nearby. Here, it is obvious that there is a gap between one or two buildings. Although it looks a bit shabby, overall it is still relatively clean. However, the street in front of me is clearly different from the one I am familiar with, and it looks very technological. The smell of gunpowder wafting in the air made Su Kan frown. Sure enough, the war has just ended. Su Kan looked at the bottle of water in his hand that came out of the faucet, and then stepped onto the land of this, technological level 1. Jiangbei City. Due to the disappearance of 30 Special Forces soldiers, all search systems have launched a comprehensive search. The Heavenly Eye system has been expanded to its maximum extent. But still achieved nothing. Chief Yang quickly walked up to Major General Su Changrong and lowered his voice, saying, "Above. Already knows about this matter. We're starting to hold you accountable, old Su. What should we do now? What else can I do?" Su Changrong's face was extremely gloomy. Find the person first before speaking. General Yang's voice was also bitter. That's what we have cultivated. Among the elites, the anti-reconnaissance technology is incredibly powerful. Old Su, you should know that it's not that easy to find. Su Changrong was speechless and said, then it's not like you can't even find a car, right? Where the hell did they go? Dingling lingling. At this moment, Su Changrong's phone rang. He immediately grabbed the phone from his desk and said, I'm Su Changrong. However, immediately, his originally gloomy expression changed for an instant. Commander Song. P.S. New books set sail, seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking everything. Thank you for your support, readers. What is the value of a bottle of tap water in Chapter 5? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Commander Song. Su Changrong's heart thumped. Surprisingly, over the phone is a military officer from the provincial military region. This matter has already been exposed over there. However, Su Changrong immediately spoke up again, we will soon find the soldiers back. Please believe in the level of Zhurong's special forces. Although the Zhurong military district is under the jurisdiction of the provincial military district, in reality, due to the special nature of the Zhurong special forces, Su Changrong and this military district commander hold the same rank. The other side also spoke politely, Lao Su, I can only help you delay for another half an hour. This matter must be reported to the authorities. You should also be aware of the severity of the situation. Su Changrong gritted his teeth and understood the other party's difficulties. But continue to report to. Isn't that equivalent to reporting to Yanjing? But at this moment, Su Changrong couldn't say anything. After all, it happened under his nose. I know now, definitely as soon as possible. On the other side. At the technological level. Apart from the shining neon lights and floating vehicles coming and going on the street, only Su Can and his group, who were loaded with bullets, were left walking on the road. However, coming here is not without gains. Su Can has found a way to contact clean water sources. That is an organization composed of various forces from around the world, called the Water Conservation Organization. Although they have a very high level of technology, they have lost clean water sources for many years. People in this plane can only drink distilled water, leading to various strange diseases. So the original clean water source is extremely important. Class Monitor Chen Feng looked at the scene in front of him in amazement, with extremely complex emotions. What exactly is this place? This is too advanced. Are we still on Earth now? Not only Chen Feng, but every soldier of Zhurong Special Forces has this idea in their heart. Although they were drawing tactical camouflage, the scene they saw in front of them made them feel incredibly amazed. However, no matter what, they completely subdued the young Major General, who was walking at the forefront at this moment. What is an extremely secretive operation? Such actions deserve the words, extremely secret. That's amazing. At this moment, Su Can had already stood in front of a light screen on the roadside. He twisted open the bottle and poured some water into a hole under the screen. On the screen, words quickly appeared. Where did you find this water? Su Can raised her eyebrows and said, what about the heavy money you promised? After Su Can made such a response, the handwriting on the screen remained unchanged. However, in less than a moment, a floating car stopped in front of them. There was no one above this car, but a strange sound came from inside. Welcome my distinguished guests to the Water Conservation Organization. With absolute sincerity, we invite you to visit our organization headquarters for detailed discussions. I hope you and your friends can appreciate coming. This voice is not in the language of Earth, it is very obscure and cannot be understood at all, but the system comes with a civilized translation. Su Can didn't think much either, after all, wealth and fortune are in high demand. Moreover, these special forces soldiers are not vegetarians. Although the weapon levels are different, Earth's thermal weapons can also penetrate unprotected bodies. So, Su Can step directly onto this car. All the special forces followed behind Su Kan and sat on the floating vehicle together. After sitting in this car, these soldiers were even more amazed in their hearts. Even if these things are spoken out, no one will believe them, right? No wonder it needs to be kept confidential. What is the origin of this young general? Has the country established connections with such a developed civilization now? Also, where is this? But this is because they don't understand. Since arriving here, apart from the exaggerated high-tech scenes they see in front of them, they don't even know what to do. And there is only one instruction from the young general. To protect his safety. If they knew that Su Kan was carrying a bottle of water to deceive things, I'm afraid it might startle my big teeth. The speed of the floating car was too fast, and the light and shadow outside the window quickly passed by, quickly arriving in front of a particularly huge building. At this moment, there was already a middle-aged man wearing obvious researcher clothing standing in front of the door, waiting. Due to system reasons, there is no need to worry about language, and the people here look similar to those on Earth, with only slight differences that should be hidden inside their clothes. So there are no communication issues either. Under the smiling face of the other party, the Special Forces and Su Kan entered the building of this water rescue organization together. Sir, our leader is already waiting for you. This water source is very important to both you and us. I would like to know where exactly this water source was discovered from. Su Kan glanced at him, but did not speak. Just kidding, can you tell me where you brought it from? What kind of temperament are these people? Su Kan still doesn't know, and his own safety is also protected by these 30 special soldiers. If I really say it, I can't say for sure what this world, which has just finished fighting, will do. Invading Earth is unlikely because they cannot find a way to travel, but they will definitely get into trouble. P.S. New books set sail, seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking everything. Thank you for your support, readers. Chapter 6. I don't want money, what I want is technology. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Seeing that Su Kan was silent, the middle-aged man didn't say anything more. He is well aware that in this postmodern era, it should be extraordinary for someone to have a pure water source in their hands. And it can be seen that the person in front of me is very calm, both in temperament and aura. They are not ordinary people. Subsequently, he led the way with Su Kan and others to a huge flat floor on the top floor. An elderly man dressed like a politician nodded slightly as he looked at Su Kan and the armed troops behind him. Are you the one who discovered an unpolluted water source? Su Kan nodded, and without further discussion, he said directly. That's right. Tell me how to trade. The other party also nodded, looking thoughtful, and then spoke up. How much do you want? Let's ask for a price. Su Kan chuckled and said, I don't want your money because of this. I have it. Su Kan is naturally bragging, but the identity he is pretending to be cannot be inferior to money. Otherwise, without coercion, it will be difficult to carry out the next transaction. And Su Kan is well aware that, compared to money, what is more important to herself is genuine technological creations. However, for the other party, the person in charge of the water conservation organization, Su Kan's words made him somewhat wary. What exactly is this guy from? Found the water source. But not for money. What does he want? Su Kan said, I think you should also understand that the water sources on this planet are no longer unpolluted due to war and radiation. He reviewed the information that had appeared in the system before and said, even the pollution has become so severe that it has entered the bodies of living beings. Keep going, not to mention the water source, your planet is on the brink of extinction. So, don't try to bargain anymore. What I'm giving you now is an opportunity to continue surviving. Don't question my abilities, let alone try to plunder me. I have a large amount of water in my hands, and if you can do this, you should understand that I am not an ordinary person, not something you can control. Upon hearing Su Kan's words, the person in charge's face changed again and again. This is clearly not something that an ordinary person can say, and they are well aware that they are currently facing such a problem. The entire planet is on the brink of extinction. The current prosperity is nothing more than a phenomenon of a resurgence after the end of war. The ultimate goal is to reach the end after 100 years. Their civilization will completely decline. Moreover, Su Kan's wording also left this person in charge deeply impressed. Your planet. He's using this expression, isn't he from our planet? So where did he come from? What's going on with this tone? Is he here to save us? What kind of person is he? Su can remain silent, but from his constantly changing expression, he could also understand that he had already intimidated the other person. If the other party knows that they only received free tap water from a mineral water bottle, they may collapse on the spot, but of course, if you're willing to give this thing, I'm willing to take it too. After thinking for a long time, the person in charge spoke up and asked, "Excuse me for taking the liberty. May I ask, where do you come from and what is your identity?" Su Kan smiled slightly and replied, "I am a plain traveler, also known as a plain merchant by others, or you can also call me an ancient ruins explorer." With a slight pause in his tone, Su Kan pointed to the members of the Zhurong Special Forces behind him and said, "Like them, they are my members. We shuttle through many ancient relics, and it seems that their weapons come from a very special ancient relic. And in our eyes, your planet is also considered an ancient relic. As for the water source in my hand, it comes from other planes. Do you understand?" Upon hearing this, the expression on the person in charge's face became somewhat stiff. Because what Su Kan expressed was too astonishing, it left him feeling a bit confused for a moment. Plane. Explorers of ancient ruins. These words all shocked him. After a long time, the person in charge finally calmed down and said extremely seriously, "Please propose your conditions." Su Kan looks up and looks out of the landing window, pointing towards the sky from afar. "I want to. This." Outside the window, floating in the dim yellow sky of the setting sun, are two Sky and Sky aircraft carriers. On the other side, on Earth. In the military district of Jiangbei City. Su Changrong finally found a trace on his side. What? Didn't it go to the city? Did they follow the highway towards the suburbs? With a big wave of his hand, Su Changrong immediately spoke up and said, "Prepare your hands. Along the highway, search for their tracks. Be prepared to close the road at any time. The entire Zhurong Special Forces are almost pouring out. In order not to cause further unrest, they have even prepared to temporarily block the highway." At this moment, Su Changrong had just hung up the phone from Yanjing. A senior general will soon personally come to Jiangbei to conduct internal inspections and clarify internal responsibilities. What Su Changrong needs to do now can be said to be racing against time. Make every effort to convict that young man Su Kan first. Otherwise, it's hard to say what else will happen later. Soon the results will be obtained from the inspection along the highway. Did you find any vehicles around Qilian Mountain? Upon hearing the report, Su Changrong raised his eyebrows. I don't understand why Su Kan abducted 30 elites to the mountains. But soon, Su Changrong suddenly thought of a location. I once heard from this kid that there is a huge cave in Lianshan. He immediately said, "Find that cave. This stinky kid. Send a team of people into the cave to find them. The others have surrounded me outside the cave." Su Changrong himself couldn't sit still anymore and immediately drove towards the direction of Jilian Mountain. As he drove over, he also received more and more reports. These reports also prove that Su Kan did indeed lead people into the cave. But the more detailed these reports were, the more strange Su Changrong felt in his heart. What exactly did he go for? A cave. Can't we just take special forces on an adventure? No matter how foolish this kid is, he can't do such a thing. Su Changrong had 100 question marks in his heart. At this moment, of course, he remembered what Su Kan had said before about finding the entrance to other planes. Damn it! How could this be possible? Su Changrong immediately dispelled this idea in his heart. The anger in my heart is getting stronger and stronger. Su Kan, you really can't support the wall with mud. Go to prison and reflect on yourself. P.S. New books set sail, seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking everything. Thank you for your support, readers. Chapter 7. I have seen the starry sea, seeking flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. For Su Kan, the current situation is actually very clear. That's right, it's just a robbery. Although it's just a bottle of water and not even the cost, Su Kan just ask for an aerospace carrier. And the other party is really seriously considering what Su Kan is saying at this moment. This person in charge is well aware of the problems facing their planet. The Water Conservation Organization bears the heavy responsibility of saving civilization, and naturally has immense power in their hands. As the head of this organization, he is certainly an incredibly shrewd guy. After hearing what the man who claimed to be a plain merchant said, his pupils suddenly contracted. In a short moment, countless thoughts flashed through his mind. This guy says he's a plain merchant. Just speak up and ask for our aerospace carrier. Since he is a plain merchant, if he is true, it means that this water has no value to him. He figured it out very clearly. But at this moment, he had to think more deeply. At this moment, the person in charge's gaze swept over the soldiers behind Su Kan. Due to the recent end of the war on this planet, he could tell at a glance that these warriors were definitely among the elites. However, precisely because of this, he secretly felt speechless in his heart. But looking at the equipment on their bodies. Simple exaggeration. What exactly is this situation? While he was thinking, Su Kan's voice came back. It seems that you don't want to trade anymore. It doesn't matter. I have seen too many short-sighted civilizations. The self-destructive have no need for salvation. With these words, Su Kan immediately turned around and waved his hand, let's go. But when Su Kan turned around, the person in charge panicked. He quickly walked up to keep the young man. However, the task of these soldiers from the Zhurong Special Forces at this time is to protect the safety of the Major General. At this moment, seeing this person quickly approaching, the soldiers who were originally very curious about everything around them suddenly changed their colors and immediately picked up their guns, aiming at the person in charge. Hey! Stop! The person in charge's footsteps were stopped by 30 bright guns. The person in charge quickly raised his hands and panicked, saying, slow down. Slow down. Sir. Could you please discuss it in more detail? However, Su Kan seemed as if he hadn't heard it, and his footsteps didn't stop at all. At the sight of this, the person in charge's expression changed greatly. I am willing to accept your proposal. Sir. Please stay. He is really panicking. In the face of the overall situation that determines the life and death of civilization, he must make a choice, and this transaction is destined to be unequal from the beginning. However, in order to survive, he had no other choice. And as soon as this sentence was spoken, Su Kan also stood still. Seeing Su Kan standing still, the person in charge also took a deep breath and relaxed a lot. But he was afraid that the other party would back out, so he quickly spoke with utmost respect. We can deliver immediately. But can we just start with one ship? If there is another one, we can deliver it later. After all, maintaining the peace that has just arrived is not an easy task now. You should also know that our internal environment is quite complex now. He spoke very sorrowfully, with an expression on his face that was even uglier than crying. Su Kan's expression remained unchanged, but after hearing these words, he did not speak either. However, in fact, his heart was already filled with joy. Adding a bottle of tap water to a mineral water bottle and switching to an aerospace aircraft carrier. This business is simply amazing. I've made a fortune. However, as Sue can remain silent, the person in charge became a bit panicked again. We can add some space fighters. We can also provide you with permanent repair services. In terms of energy, you don't have to worry, we can fully bear it. Sue can raised her eyebrows and was about to agree. But this person in charge is foolish. Seeing this eyebrow raised, he was immediately stunned, his eyes turned red, and he gritted his teeth, increasing his chips again. Sir. It's just 500 milliliters of water. In addition to 1 aerospace carrier, 16 space fighters, permanent maintenance and energy replenishment, as well as delayed delivery of aerospace carriers, we are also willing to provide. He gritted his teeth again and said, plus the design drawings for the Sky Mothership. Upon hearing this, Sue Can's heart was filled with a sense of happiness. The pleasure of this robbery is simply amazing. At this moment, he frowned slightly and said, "What's the use of this blueprint? I have seen the fall of stars and witnessed the rise and fall of civilization. A mere blueprint. What did you calculate?" Upon hearing Sue Can's words, the person in charge was foolish. He looked at the contempt in the other person's eyes, and his expression changed a bit again. I feel a bit hopeless in my heart. Regretting why I hesitated when I heard about 2 aerospace carriers just now. It's too late to regret now. However, Sue Can said again, the days ahead are still long. You don't just need these 500 milliliters. Now deliver 1 ship. Half a month later, I'll come and pick up another one. Upon hearing this, the person in charge was taken aback. In my heart, I am overjoyed. Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. I'm going to transfer the Nisland for you now. This is the most advanced aerospace carrier we currently have. P.S. New books set sail, seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking everything. Thank you for your support, readers. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Is also amazing. Seeking flowers, evaluating. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Under the leadership of the person in charge, Sue Can and a group of special soldiers from Zhurong's army arrived at the rooftop of the Water Conservation Organization. Standing at this extremely high place and overlooking the entire city, I realized that there were traces of war in the entire city. The once magnificent city turned into ruins in the midst of war, and even the ruins still seemed to witness its former glory. Based on the boundaries of this water conservation organization, there seems to be only a wall separating the new and abandoned cities. But it's the difference between heaven and hell. Oh my goodness! What exactly happened here? Where are we exactly? A suppressed cry of surprise came from the mouths of the Special Forces soldiers behind Sue Can. At this point, an aircraft has slowly landed on the rooftop. Dear sir. Please come with me. The Nisland is undergoing preparations, and engineers are also rushing to board the Nisland. I believe you should be satisfied. Sue Can nodded calmly and led everyone onto the aircraft. I casually threw the mineral water bottle to the person in charge. The person in charge quickly grabbed the mineral water bottle and cherished it, placing it in a safe place without any danger. After all, these are precious items exchanged by 2 aerospace carriers to save the entire civilization. We cannot let it have any negligence. Quickly, the aircraft had landed on the aerospace carrier. Stepping out of the cabin of the aircraft and standing on the deck of the aerospace carrier, I gazed so vividly at the scene in the sky, and immediately felt a sense of vastness. On this sky carrier, various naval guns are displayed, and dozens of fighter jets are safely parked on the deck. Even a few space fighter jets that are clearly not used for atmospheric warfare are on standby. And all of this will soon be Su Can's. Sir. The person in charge led the way and introduced, this aerospace carrier combines our most advanced anti-gravity technology at present. Compared to other electromagnetic power suspension technologies, it is more advanced. In terms of operation, it is also very simple. The engineer has been waiting on the bridge of Nisland. He can provide you with answers on some aspects that I don't understand. Su Can nodded slightly without any other expression. Where does he know about anti-gravity technology? However, it sounds like we already know that this is far ahead of Earth's technology. If it weren't for the complete pollution of the water source caused by war here, then such an aerospace aircraft carrier, even if all is depleted, may not have been obtained. But now, he only uses one bottle of water. At this moment, Su Can stood still and turned to look at the soldiers following behind. Chen Feng. As soon as Class Monitor Chen Feng heard the roll call here, he immediately stood at attention and said, "Here. Major General." Su Can nodded and then arranged. "Go and learn the primary function of this aircraft carrier. The relevant information of this aerospace carrier, including its power system and weapon system, must be mastered proficiently. You don't need to know the principle, but you must know how to use it. Do you understand?" Su Can has her own considerations. There is no point in having an empty space aircraft carrier alone, and it will also be sold at that time. At that time, technology doesn't matter, but at least there must be supporting drivers. As soon as Chen Feng heard this, there was almost light in his pupils about to burst out. Which man is not interested in this big guy? This can be said to be a great weapon extracted from the ultimate technology of this civilization. Chen Feng and the soldiers were overjoyed when they heard Su Can's words. Chen Feng exclaimed excitedly, "I understand. Give you half a month," Su Can continued, "after half a month, make sure to finish learning all of this. As time goes by, I will come back to pick you up." Upon hearing these words, the soldiers became even more excited. This mission not only has no danger, but also such a good thing. Not only does it broaden one's horizons, but it also enables them to fulfill the dreams of countless men. Drive an aerospace aircraft carrier. These most elite Special Forces soldiers are also excited at this moment, each with their own ideas. Major General Su Can is also too arrogant. You are truly such a young Major General. Which unit does Major General Su Can belong to? It's probably extremely secretive, isn't it? The country has such a capable Major General, and the rise is just around the corner. Su Can doesn't know what these guys are thinking. What he was pondering in his mind was what to do when he returned to Earth. Now it must have been discovered on Earth that I have abducted all the elite talents of Jerome. It's not easy to explain when we go back. Directly selling aerospace carriers to Earth, Well, simply selling it is a hassle. But I also quite like this thing. Su Can pondered for a moment, feeling a bit distressed. Why don't we keep one as a vehicle? Using an aerospace carrier as a vehicle is really impressive. What Rolls-Royce, what Bentley? They are all younger brothers. The distress quickly dissipated. Anyway, there are 2 aircraft carriers. Let's get a ship back to Earth first. At this moment, the person in charge of the Water Conservation Organization is still talking incessantly about. This Nisland-class aerospace carrier is currently our only strategic class carrier capable of traveling in a cosmic environment. Fortunately, our war had already stopped before it even progressed to real space warfare. Su Can didn't listen to these words. Just pondering how to bring this mothership back to Earth. The previous level of level gate is clearly too far behind. I don't know what's in the system. Do you have the option to open a larger size door? P.S. New books set sale, seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking everything. Thank you for your support, readers. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Children only make choices, I have to. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 9. Now, the problem lies in front of Su Kan. How do I bring back such a big aerospace carrier to Earth? The diameter of the level door that was opened in the cave before is about 5 meters. Normal passage for ordinary people is definitely not a problem. But what is the size of this space carrier that can be solved by 5 meters? The diameter of those naval gun barrels outside is about 5 meters. Su Kan thought this way, regardless of what the person in charge of the water conservation organization around him was talking incessantly. In front of him, the system panel had already appeared in front of him. In the plane module, Su Kan began filtering the options for plane boundary gates. Soon, within the options of the plane boundary gate, Su Kan saw the option of super large plane boundary gate. Super giant plane boundary gate. How big is this? The sound of the system immediately echoed in Su Kan's ear. A huge plane gate with a diameter of 3 light-years. Open the conditions and expand the 6th level plane. Consumption. Not unlocked yet. Upon hearing this sound, Su Kan was startled with a thud in his heart. 3 light-years in diameter. What kind of thing can use such a big door? It seems that I won't be able to use this thing for a while. And it's not unlocked anyway. Su Kan thought this way and then shifted his gaze over the giant plane boundary gate and large plane boundary gate to the next medium plane boundary gate. The sound of the system is coming again. Medium level boundary gate. A diameter of 30 kilometers. Opening condition. None. Opening restrictions. Open areas. Su Kan looked at this, with a diameter of 30 kilometers, it could fully accommodate the forward movement of this aerospace carrier. But this restriction, open areas. Isn't there any open space on Earth? What kind of restriction is this? At this moment, Su Kan already had a plan in mind. And the person in charge beside him never stopped talking along the way. Sir, when this space carrier was built, it can also be said that it marked the end of the war on our planet. Using it to give our civilization the opportunity to continue to survive. I think it's completely worth it. Su Kan nodded slightly. He, who had not spoken yet, now spoke up. The greatest lesson that living beings can learn from history is that they never receive any lessons. As soon as he spoke these words, the person in charge's face instantly changed. These words were deeply engraved in his mind. It seems to have touched the depths of his soul. Is he warning us? Thinking of what the plain businessman had said before, he suddenly came up with many things. Has this plain merchant, who has witnessed the fall of countless stars and the rise and fall of countless civilizations, ultimately come to the conclusion that he cannot learn any lessons during the rise and fall of countless civilizations? The cold sweat on his forehead flowed down in an instant. What should I do? This is really too advanced. He pondered on the development of his civilization over thousands of years, but it was indeed as the businessman said. No wonder he seems uninterested in everything. Along the way, I talked endlessly about introducing this aircraft carrier, but this businessman did not show any change in expression. I really can't feel the depth. I just feel incredibly mysterious and terrifying. However, he did not know that Su Kan was not uninterested in the spacecrafts, but rather pondering over the matter of the plane boundary gate. At this point, the two had already stood on the bridge. Looking at the sailors and soldiers coming and going on the bridge, Su Kan felt a bit puzzled. He frowned and turned his head to look at the person in charge next to him. At first glance, I saw him sweating profusely and his lips turning white, wondering what he was thinking. Su Kan didn't know what he was thinking, just spoke up and asked. Are all the soldiers on this ship women? His voice awakened the person in charge, who was immersed in thought. The person in charge immediately regained consciousness, nodded quickly, and then spoke up, "Yes." Immediately, a hint of bitterness appeared on his face. "The war has been too long. The gender ratio on our planet has become severely imbalanced. Too many eligible males have died in wars. However, not all of them are female soldiers, and there are also some soldiers who are male. It's just that all the soldiers on this ship are female. Because the captain of this ship is a female general." Upon hearing these words, Sukan also nodded slightly. "But I was a little curious in my heart. Female general." At this moment, a capable and pleasant female voice came from behind the two of them. "Mr. Morley." Sukan turned around and saw a short-haired female soldier wearing a deep blue military uniform with a perfect figure. That face looks absolutely beautiful, although it doesn't have any facial expressions or makeup. It is also full of beauty, with every aspect between its eyebrows and eyes looking beautiful. Although the expression is indifferent and calm, there is a different kind of beauty. "Captain Nisland, Chen-Lan. At your service." At this moment, Sukan finally learned the name of the person in charge, Morley. It is obvious that Morley has the ultimate power on this planet. Otherwise, we cannot shoulder the heavy responsibility of saving the entire civilization. It seems that this Morley is a good guy, both morally and intellectually. At this moment, Mori dared not have any airs in front of Sukan. He quickly spoke to the female captain named Chen-Lan and said, "This is." But halfway through the conversation, it immediately stopped. He didn't know what to say or what not to say, so he cleverly changed his mind and said, "This gentleman is our guest of honor. Major General Chen-Lan, the command of this Nisland ship will be handed over from your hands to this gentleman." Captain Chen-Lan's expression changed a bit. But she remained calm and said, "I am extremely happy. I will immediately start transferring permissions with my people." However, at this moment, Sukan seemed to suddenly think of something and spoke up. "There is no need for any changes to the organization on this warship." Upon hearing these words, both Chen-Lan and Morley's expressions changed a bit. However, Sukan followed closely and said, "Everything on this warship. Come with me, everyone." Chen-Lan's pupils immediately contracted suddenly. And Mori's expression immediately froze. It's obvious that the two of them didn't expect such a result. Mori also didn't expect that this mysterious existence not only wanted a space carrier, but even the people on board had to receive it. He was surprised for a moment that he didn't speak. There is a blank space in the brain. P.S. New books set sail, seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking everything. Thank you for your support, readers. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. Returning to Earth, Seeking Flowers, Evaluation Tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. The atmosphere on the bridge suddenly cooled down. At this moment, the captain of the USS Nisland, Chen-Lan, was filled with confusion. Her brain is running rapidly. I don't understand what the young man in front of me really means. Looking at Lord Mori's respectful expression at this moment, she was even more curious in her heart. Lord Morley is an absolute leader on this planet. Even without Lord Morley, the flames of war on this planet may not have ceased. It is precisely because of his wisdom and patience that there was a cessation of war and everything today. But what role is this young man? What do his words mean? However, although Captain Chen-Lan did not know what Sukan meant, as the head of the water rescue organization, Morley, he naturally understood Sukan's meaning in his heart. If we don't cancel the establishment, we will take the ship and people with us. Since you are a plain merchant, it is possible that you have completely left this world, and even until you die, you cannot come back. To be honest, as a Mori, it is difficult to accept such a request. Its property, technology, and even all the high-tech knowledge they rely on for a living, which can be sold. But human life, creatures, this kind of thing, he really can't accept it. The reason why Mori is so respected is precisely because he is indeed a very pure person. Otherwise, we would definitely not be able to reach this point. But what is now before him is undoubtedly a tram problem. Rotate the track pole, and a small group of people will leave. If it doesn't rotate, then what will disappear will be the entire civilization. The result is actually easy to obtain, but on a human level, he doesn't want to make this decision. At this moment, Su-kan spoke up and said, "Let's discuss it carefully. Let's see how you decide." After speaking, he walked away without hesitation. Su-kan is very clear that she still needs to give them some space. After all, I am not an unforgivable villain. Besides, following oneself is much safer than on this garbage war planet. Leave General Mori and General Chen-lan looking at each other. However, after Su-kan left, Mo-li gritted his teeth and began to tell Chen-lan about the ins and outs of everything from an hour ago. "Captain Chen-lan. The situation is like this. Su-kan arrived at the bathroom alone. But he didn't come to use the restroom. He is going back to Earth. Just opening the plane boundary gate requires no interference." Soon, the deep vortex reappeared before Su-kan's eyes. Just before entering this space realm, Su-kan was contemplating some other situations. Although the destination is my own home in Jiangbei City, China. But even Su-kan herself didn't know where she would end up wearing it. Only safety can be confirmed. Unable to confirm the specific location. According to the system explanation, this feature will have to wait until the system is upgraded again later. It can also be understood. After all, when I came here, I didn't go directly to the headquarters of this water conservation organization. Su-kan didn't think much, just took a step towards the vortex. Jiangbei Mining Park. This is a great place for hikers to gather in Jiangbei City. Due to the development of the city, the original mines have been fully mined, leaving only open-air mountains and rocks, which have been transformed into a pure land within the city. Apart from the Rocky Mountains, trees have been planted in other places and transformed into a park. This is also a great place for rock climbing enthusiasts. Currently, many people are climbing on Rocky Mountains. Some people carry video devices like GoPro on their heads, recording their climbing experiences. However, at this moment, bang! A flash of light, accompanied by a loud noise, came from the other side of the mountain. "I'm Chow." Many people were surprised and quickly grabbed the climbing rope. Many people looked towards the direction of sound and light. While seeing the flash dissipate, I also saw a figure running out of the nearby mountain forest. Quickly disappeared into the jungle again. People were stunned as they watched this scene. "Oh my! Did you see it? What is that? Are they aliens? Have all your devices captured it? This may be an alien. This is the first clear footage of an alien's existence. These hikers are all crazy." But on the other side, Su-kan lowered his head and hurried through the forest, wanting to leave quickly. Just now, the plane boundary gate fell into the forest, and a huge energy annihilated a tree by its roots, emitting sound and light. This is not Su-kan's original intention, but now he must quickly withdraw. As he quickly descended the mountain, he pondered in his heart. How did it fall here? Fortunately, it's not too far either. Su-kan's house is 3 or 4 kilometers away from this park. You can also see the situation of the park here from your balcony on weekdays. So I am quite familiar with it, and when I saw that rocky mountain, I immediately understood where I was. With these connections in mind, Su-kan began to ponder again. Will the landing point be within a range of 3 to 4 kilometers? Su-kan is not very clear about the specific numbers, but more data support is needed later. He quickly descended the mountain and arrived at the park gate. I stopped a taxi and headed towards my own house. Sitting in the taxi and heading home, Soo-kan didn't look out the window. I didn't notice that military vehicles were speeding past one after another on the road. These soldiers who were searching for people never expected that their target, Soo-kan, would actually unexpectedly sitting in a taxi so ordinary sitting in the evacuation. Soo-kan had no idea what a huge storm he had already caused in Jeongbei City. P.S. New books set sail, seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking everything. Thank you for your support, readers.